Heyo! Hello and welcome back. As always, I'm Sean, this is Uneducated Gamer, and we are continuing our series in Football Manager 2015 as we try and take Bromley as far as we can in the English League structure. Where did we leave off last time? Oh, you know what I thought of? Actually, last time I recorded a video, I was like, oh, I hate how people, like how you watch people live and they lose their games or they draw their games, and then randomly they come back a week later and they're like, yeah, I just won 10 in a row. And you kind of sit there and just think, bullshit. But I saved 5 times. So I've saved it 5 times each month of the season thus far. So I think I did it once in September or August or September. And then, yeah, so I'm just saving it at the end of each month before I record, just in case I lose the footage or something like that. But that's where we're up to. So I have gone on a pretty good run without having to save it and keep replaying games, which I'm sure there are people that do that and upload the content to YouTube like they're the greatest of all time. Ideally, I'd like to upload every single game that I play, but I don't think it makes for an entertaining series. As I said in the last episode, I don't want it to turn around and have 50 episodes for an entire season. I'm more than happy with the 10 or so that we should get for this season. And I think that's a good format to continue the seasons ahead. You don't have to watch every single game, but you still get all the highlights and all that sort of thing. Where did we leave off last time? It was a very disappointing 1-1 draw to Hayes and Yedding away. They were kind of middle of the table side. We went ahead with Jordan Robertson, and then Ashley Artwell got his first goal for the season, which seems to be a recurring theme. A lot of the goals we concede seem to be the first goal of the season for that particular player. Not sure if that's something other people experience, but we certainly do. And the next game out was against Barrow, who are third in the Conference North, and we were very, very good in this game. We actually went 1-0 down right at the start. Johnny Gorman, it was a scrappy goal. I think it was from a free kick or a corner. It got headed back, and then we just absolutely trashed him from there on out. Daniel Roberts restored a 1-1 equalising goal in the 41st minute. Moses Adamola put us ahead in the 50th, and Danny Waldron with 2 very late penalties. I actually made subs after an hour. Robertson and Bangura came off for Waldron and Birchall. Birchall actually won one of those penalties. The other one was won by Daniel Roberts, and Danny Waldron converted them both to get a double off the bench. So a good response from him. Pretty unlucky actually to not get player of the match in that game. They're both excellent penalties, but you can see here from the stats, 18 shots, 10 on target. That's the sort of efficiency we want to be having in terms of converting our attacking chances. And really, they only had 1 shot on target the entire game. The 9 that they had were from distance, so that deep line seems to be working really well. If you think back to that first video, I went through the tactic and everything, and I was so terrified that the whole thing was way too complicated for what we were trying to do and way too complicated for this level, but they seem to figure it out really well, and it seems to be working. I think that's more to do really with the personnel and the players in the spine that we have being really talented, but yeah, it's worked out really well, much better than I ever expected it to. So I'm looking forward to holding on to this one for next season as well. It is looking more and more likely that we should get an automatic promotion spot. There are 9 games to go in the league, and of course in this episode we will be having an FA Trophy semi-final game, but we'll get to that in a second. Followed that up with a 1-0 victory over Staines. We were much better side in this game. 11 shots, only 4 on target. We really just we shot ourselves in the foot here by not creating good enough chances. Moses Adamola continued his little scoring run, getting his 15th goal of the season in that game. Enough to get us over the top. They didn't really threaten at all, if I'm being honest with you. I don't really think they had a highlight or anything like that. But they're a poor side. You'd expect to beat them at home more than 1-0. Next up was Bishop Stortford. We actually went ahead of this game in the 26th minute, and then they came flying out of the break and went ahead. So we were 2-1 down in this game. And then, not to toot my own horn, but in the 61st minute, I went for broke and I just made 3 subs. Robertson, Pinnock and Waldron all came off for Bangura, Dennis and Birchall. Dennis was fantastic. I think he got 2 assists and the final goal. We turned it around, scored 4 goals in the last half an hour, or the last 25 minutes really, to turn what was a 2-1 deficit into a 5-2 victory. And you can see there, Louis Dennis getting the final goal there, more than deserved. He was excellent in that match, but still not the man of the match. It was Daniel Roberts, who, since he learnt that trequartista role, has just been tearing everyone apart. To be fair, though, it would have been unlucky had we gone on to lose that game 2-1 because we had so many more shots. We'd got a fair chunk of them on target, had more of the ball despite playing away. It was a good performance. They just had a couple of good individual goals. Ryan Auger here got one of them. It was a free kick, and George McGee was just a scrappy goal. I think it hit the deck from a corner and he managed to poke it home. So good that we were able to turn that into 3 points, and the team responded well to the subs that I made, which is always nice. Then we had our first leg of the FA Trophy semi-final. Barnett, who a few of you may recognise from playing in League 2 in the most recent seasons. They're not having the best of times at the moment, but they have turned it around slightly. Edgar Davids actually came and player managed them for, I think, 2 years it was, and it was recently, like in the last 2 or 3 years. He got rid of all of their established players. He brought in like youngsters and juniors that he thought wanted to work with him. He sacked the goalkeeper because he wanted to wear the number 1 as an outfield player. It was insane. It sounds like just some crazy nightmare that the club went through. And I don't think really in modern football you can have player managers anymore, but they ended up getting relegated out of that. And I think they had to strip a lot of their assets. Like they lost a ton of money bringing him in. So they're back down in the conference and they haven't quite had the season that you would expect them to. So sitting around 8th, but they did manage to beat us in the last game, or in the first leg, despite it being at our home ground. They were pretty good value in this game, if I'm being honest. Luke Gammon got an absolute fucking screamer. We will have a look at the goals here. I might as well show them. 2 penalties to make it 1-1. Stupid rash challenge from Kevin Malaga in the 39th minute. John Akindi with a good finish there. Yet to see anyone miss I'm yet to really see anyone miss a penalty in this game at this level yet. This is Prestige penalty. I can't remember how we won that, if I'm being brutally honest. But this next goal is an absolute belter. And to be fair, they had more highlights than we did in terms of the actual game and everything. We were really just countering. See, it comes out here to Bon. Played forward again. Ball gets tackled and Gammon just rifles that one. On his wrong foot, no less. He's got long shots of 6. And then on his wrong foot, he does that. His second goal of the season. But from about 20 yards out, he puts that one into the top corner, and it was enough to see them get the result. You can see here, though, they had more shots, they had more on target. We weren't efficient enough with our chances, despite having more of the ball, but you'd expect us to have more of the ball away from home. And to be honest, I think we were still in it, which is good to see. It's good to know that the squad that we have right now can still compete at the division above us if we keep the majority of it together. Going to be easier said than done. Last game out, we played Whitehawk, and I think this was just a case of player fatigue and everything coming into it. We have played a lot of games with these extra FA Trophy matches, and it is starting to affect the squad and their fitness and all that sort of thing. Kevin Malaga and Jack Holland weren't great in the last game. It was defensive errors that led to the 2 goals. Sam Williams got like his 18th goal of the season, so he's obviously having a good year. Jordan Dozie, however you pronounce that, got his first goal of the season. Of course he did, because they always do against us. And they were perhaps the better side. I think we're fortunate to have turned around a 2-goal deficit in the 81st minute. Immediate response from Louis Dennis after he came off the bench for Mitch Pinnock. And Reece Prestige got an 85th minute penalty, which was won by Adam Birchall. Just to equalise. Pretty fortunate in that one. I can't really have too many complaints. We got a bit lucky in that game. And then thankfully I had the opportunity to give everyone a couple of days rest, or a day's rest, after the Whitehawk game. So everyone took Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday into the game here against Barnet. Should be an interesting one. I know a lot of this series has been cup games and things like that. It's just the way that the fixtures have fallen this particular season, but at least this will be an interesting one. We've got a few players out. Cook, Bangura and Anderson are all unavailable. There's a couple other players that are struggling for fitness and things as well as they come back for injuries. So this one should be pretty interesting to see exactly how we respond. I'll have Neil Smith put the team out there, but I'm just going to fix it up and make sure it's exactly as I want it. And it kind of is. We don't need 2 defenders on the bench. I don't know why he always does that, but he does. Chuck a Menko on there for backup for the central positions. So we've got Brown, Day, Holland, Malaga and Sadu. Obviously Anderson out injured, otherwise he'd probably start ahead of Day. He's not had a good run of it in 2015. He has been injured a lot of the time. Waldron and Prestige at the base, unfortunately with Bangura out injured. Dennis, Roberts and Adamala will be our attacking midfielders, and Robertson up front, who has been pretty phenomenal. 21 goals from 33 appearances is a pretty great effort. A mixture of goals in both the Cups and the league itself. Still no assists for the season, which I find to be an interesting one. He does peel off quite a bit, but Daniel Roberts has been absolutely tearing it up in that respect. 13 goals, 18 assists, far and away our best player this season. And I think he started the year about halfway around the little circle symbol here as a trequartista, and he's just moved perfectly into that role. If we can continue that development over the next year, there's no reason he couldn't go up with us and play in League 2, if that is where we end up eventually. Anyway, there's a few players that are starting to get upset. Sam Sodjay wants to leave the club. Callum McNaughton wants to leave the club. Manko's upset that he's not playing. Ismail is not upset that he's not playing. So there's quite a few players that we might actually have to look to get rid of during the off-season just because they're unhappy. I don't really want them dragging the squad down. We did talk in the last episode, I think it was, about the 4 players that I haven't offered contract extensions yet. I may actually offer them contract extensions and get rid of the players that are hurting our morale the most. So if we sorted everyone by morale, you can see here some of the players that haven't been getting many appearances. Sojay McNaughton. Somehow Ajmal is still towards the higher end, but they may be players that we look to get rid of over the off-season and bring in stronger players. Maybe some of the players that are in the first team now will drop down to being role players next season. But that's fine. That'll be the focus of future episodes. But I guess it makes good content here, and you guys have missed out on a fair few games this month, so I might as well. The Hive is where we're playing the second leg, which is an awesome name for a ground. Hayes Lane is the name of our stadium. It does also have a couple of nicknames. It used to be called like the Freedom Stadium, and I think now it's called the Fortress Stadium. 2 more goals will see Moses Sadamola take leading scorer from Dan Flitchett, who's been on 7 for a while. They've actually been knocked out of the cup competitions. And interestingly enough, the other semi-final also has... where are we? Also has Ebbsfleet in it, so another team from the south playing against the team in the conference. Conference Premier. So it's a good year for South teams in the FA Trophy. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to be too upset if we lose this game. Obviously, they're a team in a division above us and a team that was playing League 2 football 12 months ago. So I'm going to aggressively say avenge what happened last time we played Barnet. And everyone seems to respond really well, which is good. Need a performance out of Louis Dennis. When it seems to be whichever one I start, Dennis or Pinnock, has a poor game, and then whoever comes off the bench does really well. I can't explain it. It's just the way it keeps going at the moment. Looks like a decent enough crowd's rocked up. Unfortunately, it's not at our ground. But if we can turn it around, we need really an outright win. Them winning 2-1 away from home means that on away goals, they'd likely go through, if that is even the structure of this. I don't 100% know. 12th minute now. First highlight of the game. Played out left to Barber. Crossed the ball early. It's cut out by Day. Played forward to Gash, and he's put that one away. Is he onside? He is. Michael Gash, his 7th goal of the season. The poorly named Michael Gash. It's good there from Barber. Day just comes across to cut that ball out and leaves that big gap on the left-hand side here. Horton puts it straight back into Gash. He puts him 1-0 up. Brown with the long ball forward now. Or plays it short to... Who is that? Sado. Yes, it's Sado. Holland spreads the ball now to Day. Played up the line towards Dennis. He's lost the ball high up the pitch to Yardem, and Holland's overrun it. And Gash at the second time of asking. So we've gone 2-0 down inside the first 15 minutes. That's very disappointing. You can see here 4-1 in aggregate. It's going to make it tough, but maybe we have a fight back in this. A little bit of pride. That's unlucky from Holland. That hasn't happened a whole lot to us, but it has. I know it does happen in other people's series, especially when you play a high defensive line. So there you go, 3 shots, 3 on target, ruthless efficiency from them, and we're yet to get a strike on target or have a highlight to speak of. Gash has nearly put that one in from what should have been a crossing position. So when you're in form, you're in form. Alright, can we nick one back before half time? That would be good. It'd be much easier going in 2-1 down than 2-0. So what is that old adage about it being the hardest lead to defend? Roberts with a crossfield switch to Adamola. Sado doesn't push on, I would have liked him to. Adamola with the deep ball in. And it looked like that one was maybe even sneaking in there. The keeper did not do well. Sado bursts forward now, finds a cross, and the keeper pushes that one over for a goal kick. For a corner. Prestige to whip that in now. Puts it in dangerous area. It's hit the deck. Dennis with the strike. Oh, and I think that was Robertson with the follow-up, and Stack holds the ball well. We've still had more of the ball. We keep possession really well, and our first shot on target as well. Michael Gash with a free kick. Puts that one high and to the left. Thankfully, he's sitting on a hat-trick now. He'll be one to watch. Aggressive. Let's fire the rocket. I'm not happy with your performance. You're awful. And they were. But really, Holland runs under the ball. And what was the second one? Yeah, Day makes a mistake while coming to the ball in the wrong area. Holland runs under the ball, and we're punished with 2 really good finishes. Not taking anything away from that. Adamola squares it to Roberts now. Plays all the way back to Waldron, who's on a yellow. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Looks Prestige square. Played forward to Adamola. He's gone down, and Ben Barber has given away the penalty. He's on a yellow, so how's that not a second yellow? Reece Prestige has Jordan Robertson has the opportunity here to pull one back for us. We'll still be down 4-2 on aggregate. We need to get a fair few goals in this game. I think we need another 3 still before the game is over. I might go for broke in a minute though and use all 3 subs at the same time. I'm sure Jack Holland doesn't have a high match rating after running under the ball for that header, but that's fine. Alright, so we've managed to pull 1 back. We've had 60% of the ball. We've now had more shots than them. Horton with the ball in. It's cleared away, but only as far as Bond. Oh, gets a good strike away, and Day thankfully clears it high up the pitch. Okay, it looks like that's going to be another highlight. I might watch this first just to see what happens. Played back to Johnson, to Saville. Barber inside to Johnson again. Horton plays the ball forward to Bond. Skips past 1 and strikes, but fortunately for us, not on target. Okay, we've got a free kick here, so it might be a good time for me to make some subs. Doesn't look like Louis Dennis is having a good game. I did highlight that at the start. Bring on Birchall as well, and I think I might bring on Sojay for Jack Holland, but I'll swap his sides. He's not very good on his left. Okay, Passionate, make the difference. Passionate, make the difference. Passionate, good display. No, he doesn't care. Sam Sojay, I think, is just desperate to leave the club, and given that he's 35 and on £300 a week, I might actually let him go. We have only really used him as a 3rd choice central defender. We do still have Callum McNaughton on the books as well, so might see if he wants a mutual termination. Ball in from Prestige. Can he find the pass here? It's come to Sojay. Squared ball to Waldron, who is now dangerously on that yellow. Day bursts forward, finds Pinnock. Day again. Can he find the cross? Oh, it's backstick, but it's cleared off the line well. Comes out to Seydoux. Can he find a ball in? And does. Oh, Birchall goes up well, but it's headed behind by Saville. Prestige with the corner now. Looks towards the middle. Well cleared by Johnson. Only as far as Roberts, though. Plays a good switch across to Prestige. Squares the ball to Roberts. Finds a strike, and that one's just to the right-hand side. Good effort, though. He kept it low. 70th minute now. Last 20 minutes. Can we find some... We need 3 more goals in 20 minutes. It might happen. We have had more of the ball. We've had just as many shots, but you can see here that they've put so many more of theirs on target. It's a really good percentage of shots on target from shots taken. 15 minutes to go now. I think this might be the end of our cup run. However, I would like to pull a goal back. Let's see if we can get some sort of result against them. Nick Horton's picked up an injury, and we're getting into extra time now. There'll be 2 minutes. I dare say this is going to be the end. Pinnock with the ball now. Good tackle from Yardem. Still in. Day with a deep cross, but it's gone out for a goal kick. I dare say the referee is going to call full time on this game. Stack with the goal kick now. He's taking his time, and the referee blows full time. So they're through to the final, a 2-1 defeat. I'm going to be just assertively say, can't fault your effort. Nobody expected us to win. You gave it everything. Okay, everyone's responded poorly to that, so let's try and fix it. Assertively, disappointed. Assertively, you're unlucky. Okay, so a few have responded well. Assertively, appreciate your effort. You're unlucky. Nah, no response from either of them. Okay, so not my greatest team talk of all time. But Birchall responded well, so we brought it back a little bit. So we're out of the cup. We are now just focusing on the league for the next 9 games or whatever it is. First leg triumph helps Barnet past Bromley. They beat us 2-1 across 2 legs. Fair enough too. I think they're a pretty good side. Maybe not doing as well in the league as they would have thought, but I guess it's going to set up a trophy final. Yeah, Eastleigh's going to play Barnet. Eastleigh are actually currently top of the Vanarama Conference. But look, I'm pretty proud of that performance. To get all the way to the last 4 is pretty good for a team below us. We beat teams above us throughout our run in the competition. So it's not entirely a lost cause. It does mean we can compete at a conference level if we do get promoted from the automatic promotion spot. There will be teams, of course, coming down from League 2 that will be vastly over strength once they get in here. It's a massive leap between the Conference, Premier and League 2 football. However, at least we know we can do it if we get the opportunity to. And to be honest with you, Barnet are a good side. That's no shame really in losing to them. Anyway, I've continued my streak of doing really well off camera and then poorly in the games that I'm doing live. I have no idea what's going on with that. We should have 2 more episodes to go. I'm hoping I can turn that around. 1 for March and 1 to finish off the season in April. As always though, I've been Sean, this uneducated game playing Football Manager 2015. I hope you are enjoying the series so far. If you have any questions, comments or queries or your own YouTube content, put it in the comment section below. I will go and check it out. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate your views. They do mean a lot. And I look